This right here is my 7-figure dividend growth portfolio that's made up of around 37 different stocks and ETFs that I've been building out positions of over the past, say, 6 or 7 years now. Now, this portfolio is made up of names that I absolutely love and some names that I don't like as much, of course. But the beauty of being a long-term dividend growth investor is that you, of course, can always buy in and out of different names as time goes on and mold your portfolio into the perfect portfolio that hopefully meets exactly what you're looking for. But in this video, I'm going to share with you what 10 different stocks and or ETFs I think will be perfect for a dividend growth investor to invest into in the current year, 2024, knowing everything that I know now from being a long-term investor for around 7 or so years. Now, if you're interested in seeing exactly which names I pick, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into the first name. I just finished my brand new dividend investing ebook where I share exactly how I went from zero to now over 7 figures invested, and also on how I earned more than $6,000 per month in dividends. I also finished my custom dividend tracker that you can use to track your dividend income progress on an ongoing basis. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. So number 1 out of 10, the first name that I would pick would be an ETF, the DGRW ETF, or the Wisdom Tree US Quality Dividend Growth Fund. Now, DGRW is a dividend growth ETF that has grown significantly over the past, say, 10 or 11 years. And as you can see, not even including dividends, this ETF is up around 190%. DGRW is one of my favorites because of the holding breakdown. It has a lot of exposure to things like technology, healthcare, industrials that do have a lot of potential to grow quite quickly. Not to mention the top 10 holdings for DGRW are some of my favorite stocks, favorite companies in the entire world. Things like Microsoft, Apple, Broadcom, AbbVie, Johnson & Johnson, etc. Now, DGRW doesn't only have the potential to grow very quickly, but also DGRW offers a decent starting dividend yield, around a 1.7% starting yield, which is paid monthly to investors and also has been growing and growing over time. Now, the second name that I would add to my list for investors that are chasing not only cash but also growth potential would be ticker symbol O, or Realty Income. Now, Realty Income has been beat up pretty bad over the past year because, of course, with interest rates, REITs have been bogged down quite a bit over the past few years. But long-term, Realty Income has grown significantly as far as share price goes, not to mention Realty Income, of course, pays a massive dividend with a 5.6% starting yield. Realty Income, of course, also pays a dividend on a monthly basis, which I love as an investor because I love getting those dividends every month to reinvest into more different stocks or ETFs for my long-term portfolio. And side note, across all my portfolios right now, I currently have around 2,900 shares of ticker symbol O. Now, because Realty Income is trading where it is, I personally think that for long-term investors seeking cash and growth, this could be an awesome opportunity, at least historically speaking, to grab some shares of ticker symbol O. Number 3, the next position that I would pick is the SCHD ETF, or the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. Now, what's there really to say about SCHD? Is one of my largest positions across all my portfolios currently, and that's because SCHD offers growth, as you can see right here in the max time frame, and also offers around a 3.5% starting yield, which is going to allow investors to get a lot of cash flow pretty much from day one. Now, because dividend growth is one of my favorite, most important metrics I look for as a long-term investor, SCHD, of course, also ticks off that box, and SCHD's dividend growth has been very, very impressive historically. Number 4, the next position that I would choose is ticker symbol VOO, or the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. Now, of course, VOO tracks the S&P, which has basically outperformed a lot of investors' portfolios, historically speaking, and it's very, very tough to outpace this basket of holdings. Now, VOO's up around 333% on the max time frame, which is insane considering that's over the last 14 or so years. Not to mention, VOO offers around a 1.4% starting dividend yield. So for investors that are seeking cash flow, this isn't going to give them the biggest cash flow from day one, although it definitely still is something. Not to mention, the dividends have been going up and up and up over time. Number 5, the next position that I would pick is Jepi, or the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. Now, Jepi came across my radar a few years ago. And side note, this ETF has a very interesting strategy and utilizes writing cover calls, which definitely caught my interest right away. Now, even though Jepi is more of an income-focused ETF, and you can see that right there in the name, this ETF has also grown quite a bit over the last year, up around 21%, which is very, very impressive. Not to mention, Jepi also pays a 9% plus starting dividend yield. Now, even though Jepi doesn't pay the same exact amount as far as dividends every single month, it does pay cash to investors on a monthly basis. And at least during the time that I've owned shares of Jepi, it definitely has not disappointed me as of yet. Number 6, the next position that I would choose is ticker symbol ADC, or Agree Realty Corporation. Now, because I would consider myself more of an income-focused investor that, of course, does want to also buy into assets that have the potential to grow over time, I really like investing into super high-quality REITs, and Agree Realty is exactly that. Now, Agree Realty is down almost 20% over the last year, which could be a great entry, especially if the Fed is going to start cutting interest rates sometime soon here. Not to mention Agree Realty has grown significantly over time, not even including dividends, up around 446% on the max time frame. But speaking of dividends, Agree Realty offers almost a 5% forward starting dividend yield with a monthly distribution. And also, although Agree Realty doesn't have the biggest dividend growth, they still have been raising their dividend at least a little bit over the past few years. Number 7, the next position would be ticker symbol DGRO, or the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF. Now, this is definitely one of those ETFs I wish I would have bought more shares of early on in my investing journey because of the ETF's methodology, the basket of holdings, and the fact that this ETF has pretty much grown up and to the right ever since the inception of it. Now, DGRO also offers a 2.4% starting dividend yield, somewhere around there, which definitely complements this ETF, although this ETF is not normally purchased only for the cash flow. Number 8, the next position that I would buy is ticker symbol PSA, or public storage. Now, I mentioned a minute ago, because I'm more of an income cash flow focused investor that still loves assets that grow over time, ticker symbol PSA definitely crosses off everything I'm looking for. Now, this REIT has grown like crazy on the max time frame, up over 2,800%, not to mention where it's trading as of currently, it's offering investors an initial 4.14% forward yield. Now, generally speaking, PSA is one of those REITs that allows you to sleep very well at night, and it has one of the safest rated dividends across the entire market. Not to mention, if you are an investor that seeks dividend growth, PSA has grown their dividend pretty significantly over the last decade. Number 9, the next position that I would choose is ticker symbol EPD, or Enterprise Products Partners LP. Now, Enterprise Products Partners is a midstream limited partnership which has grown pretty consistently over the long term, but even more important than that, EPD has a massive dividend yield, which for those cash flow, more income focused investors, you are going to love this. Now, EPD offers a 7.5% forward yield, which also, side note, EPD does have a history of raising their dividends. And just over the past, say, 5 or so years that I've owned EPD, I've gotten some pretty significant dividend growth out of this holding. Now, if you're interested in a relatively safe, higher yielder, ticker symbol EPD is definitely one to look into. Number 9, the next position would be ticker symbol Main, or Main Street Capital. Now, Main Street Capital is my favorite business development company. It's a monthly paying dividend stock that I've owned for years now. As you can see right here, Main is basically trading right at the all-time highs in the max time frame, up almost 259%. Now, even though that might not sound that crazy to you, for a stock that offers a 6% forward starting dividend yield plus, that is definitely some massive growth. Not to mention, Main Street Capital regularly offers special dividends to investors, and Main Street Capital has definitely paid me a ton of dividends over the past 5 or 6 years that I've owned the stock. Now, the last position that I would pick, number 10, would be VIG, or the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation Index. Now, there's not too much to say about this ETF other than the fact that it's pretty much the perfect ETF for investors out there, like myself, that would consider themselves a dividend growth investor. And that's because this ETF has paid dividends consistently and has grown very quickly over time. It's up 250% more or less on the max time frame, as a super high quality basket of holdings, and VIG offers just shy of a 2% forward starting dividend yield, which also VIG has had some massive dividend growth historically. So those are the 10 different positions that I would choose as of right now in 2024 if I was looking to build out a monster portfolio that offers not only cash flow, but also the potential to grow over time. Now, out of all the different stocks and ETFs that we went through in this video, I want to now hear from you guys down below. Which one of the stocks or ETFs would you choose as your number 1 favorite position? Drop the ticker symbol in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.